When I was in class, I've forgotten which class, somebody told me a line doesn't move.
So it's a direction.
Well, if a line doesn't move, it has no direction.
Well, a vector does.
Does it? Uh-oh. I'm in trouble here. I think we got a vector moves? It has a direction. Well, then I'm wrong. A line has, I'm not sure about that.
No, only put an arrow on the end of it.
You what? Top line and frame? You're giving up floor craft for top line and frame? I guess my top line failed. Okay. Okay, well, have fun. Good luck. Okay, so, my goodness gracious, from out of the past, how are you? What a pleasure seeing you again for so long. You look so well. Thank you. You haven't changed a bit.
Did you collect your ticket?
I got my keys right here, darling.
You should have for about 21.
Here's my keys.
You didn't count them?
I didn't know I was supposed to.
21.
21, okay. Wow. So, nobody's given me an answer. Would you like to try again? What is the line of dance? David?
Line of dance is counterclockwise around the room.
Well, as a lawyer, as I recall,
Yes.
you would fail geometry. Okay. I am going to give you some papers. I may not have enough. Barbara, can you get more papers? The
You have
master,
21 people and I have 19 tickets.
and I have 12 of these.
Did anyone?
You can share for now. I need another 8, 9.
Share between couples.
Well, if you'll share, you'll share. All right. You'll share.
Joy.
You'll share. You'll share. Now, let me say that without any doubt in my mind, and I started in 1958 for Arthur Murray's in Hartford, Connecticut, and I was told that the line of dance goes counterclockwise around the room. That's what I was told, that's what I believed. I was also told it went in the direction I was moving, which wasn't always in a counterclockwise direction. And I know some of you have done that yourselves, having watched it. Okay, this is the most important item in the beginning of a competitor's journey in either standard or smooth dancing. When I say smooth dancing, I mean smooth as well. Okay? We're doing standard today. The line of dance started officially in Europe in the 1700s, and it was done in the noble courts where some dance master said, look, we're going to draw a line down the center of the floor because you guys no longer want to do the minuets and the one-handed gloved touching where you don't get too close at any point in the evening. All right? And now you've decided you want to hug and move around the floor to the waltz music that was the popular music of the day. We're going to draw this line through the center of the room, and those guys down there, because we're going to do right turns first, we're going to go this way around the room, which is counterclockwise. You may not cross this center line because we're noblemen and we're setting the trend for social behavior in regards to one another. So we must care for the other people as well as ourselves and our partners. And give them the chance to move and enjoy their dancing together. So I consider this center line an extremely important landmark which should always be observed by the dancers on the floor. You owe it to the other dancers. Okay? In a rectangle. So the width, so the line of dance, let me get back to that, is an imaginary pathway created by drawing an imaginary line through the center of the room parallel to the adjacent wall or the edge of the floor. The distance between that center line and the edge of the floor is the width of the pathway called the line of dance. It's a big wide road with a median. In a rectangle, we do not draw the center line through the center of the room. We use the same width as the long line on the short line. Because if we drew the center line out there, we'd crash it everywhere. Okay, so we have 4 lines of dance parallel to each wall in a room. The basis, well, no, sorry. We are like cars on a highway, and we have a median called a center line. We move in a counterclockwise direction. Originally, when the music was not up to what we call Viennese or Strauss music, but faster than slow waltz, and because the men wore their swords on the left side, they grabbed the woman on the right side to take care of them and not offend them by sticking their swords into them. Good point. Because the lady was on the right side, it was easier to turn right. So they turned right. On and on they went, turning right. Someone got tired of this and said, wait a minute, I want to turn left. And they turned left. And thus established the choreography that is the basis of standard dancing, which is right turns, change step, left turn, change step, change step, left turn, change step, right turn. All of the dances use that basis of choreography. Okay. Tango originally was Argentine tango. What's written in the book, everybody knows the book? You've heard of the book? You got to be careful with the book. It's so out of date, it's unbelievable. If you want to see the book, go to YouTube, go type in Alex Moore dances Foxtrot or tango or whatever, and you will see Alex. And we're trying to compete with that. We're trying to do something like this when it's like this. The only way that you can succeed, as far as I know, in being the best dancer you can be is be your own teacher. You will, as I did, get so much information about how to do the thing right, it's unbelievable. And it conflicts. I'm sure you've experienced it. You know, you went to some guy, told you this, and then you come to some guy like me, and I tell you something different, you go, what the hell do I do? So you have to discriminate for you as to what works best for you. Get your friends to look at it and say, that looked good. Oh, you look a little funny there. Okay, so we've established what the line of dance is. Now the basic pattern of movement that was established early on was going from the outside of the room towards the center line, along the center line, but they only went out in the original wall about this far, and then back to the wall. The war came, World War II. World War I. Do you remember now is, you can't remember, you're not old enough, I do. Now is the hour when we must say goodbye. Yes? Well, they were going from da-da, da-dee, to now is the hour when multiple reverses. So they went from what the construction of what we call today Viennese waltz with faster music to the slow waltz construction, which is generally, not always, one right turn, one left turn, and a change step. But it involved swing. Does anybody have an idea of what is swing?
Movement about a fixed point.
Pardon me?
Movement with a fixed point.
Does that, anybody know what that means? I do. But my interpretation part of me has to work hard to take those words and figure out what that, and get a picture of what it is. Can anyone give me a picture?
About hips moving in the direction of the moving right in the direction, moving your hips in the direction that you are moving.
Yeah. You bring up an interesting idea. Anybody want to dance? I understand what you mean, but it doesn't answer does not give a rich description of swing.
Moving around the low axis.
Creating an illusion on every bar of music that you and your partner are attached from above by a rope, or both of you are in a child's swing. And every bar of music, you create the illusion using the basic pattern of movement, which is what? Basic pattern of movement within the line of dance,
Natural turns, change steps, reverse.
going from the outside of the room to the center line, along the center line, and back out to the wall. Whether it be your bronze medal or your open, the same basic pattern of movement applies. Now, when I watch you dance, what I see is a bunch of people doing steps. Their goal, and this is an American thing, it developed in America, not Europe. 10 steps, you're a bronze. 10 steps, you're silver. And 10 steps, you're gold. And 10 steps, you dance like this. More focused on the forward backside or whatever it might be than on swinging out to the wall, getting back out to the center line, and along the center. I have wondered and spent a lot of time, because I'm a true patriot, why the Russian and the Eastern European dancers have come into this country and are so good. It's because they don't do 10 steps in your bronze, 10 steps in your silver. They dance to the music. Okay. So we've established how to get around the room within the parameters of the line of dance. That's my next question. How does a couple manage to do that beautifully so that when they present their dance, it looks as good, if not better, than the sounds of the music playing? Now, I want to just mention something for a minute. Are you bored? You sure? What do you hear?
Power and drift.
What I hear is da, 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 da. Time is a human invention. Before we were here, there was no time. What is time? It's a measurement. The underlying reason why we invented it is we wanted to figure out where we came from without knowing it at the time. We also want to know where we're going. So if I count time, and I dance to time, what's in between time? Melody. Between the time better I dance to melody. I'm having such a good time. I am a senior. When I watch the seniors dance, I say, can't they do better than they do? They look like seniors. I